Hello and welcome once again to Japan Expert Insights. We're trying something new tonight, and it's been going okay so far, actually. Got to put my microphone over here, actually, is one of the first things I got to do because we were trying out the new microphone. We're also doing this on Zoom, and Maya isn't here tonight. So that's probably why things have been a little clunky this evening. I'm actually, if you're watching this live, it's Thursday night, Friday morning in Japan. I am actually on a plane to Tokyo, and I'm going to meet up with a lot of friends and a lot of people that I'm just really, really excited to see in person for the first time that I have been in contact with on LinkedIn, for many, many years. And so I'm just thrilled to be able to do this. But unfortunately, that means that we're having to pre-record this episode. And with us, we brought back Kanako Hori-san. Kanako, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me again.
So how all this started was because we were doing lunch maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we got into this idea of like, hey, we really like J-dramas a lot. And Hori-san is kind of like she studied the financial aspects of this. And so she's like, well, maybe we could do a show about that. So tonight, it's kind of like we're doing something new. Besides the fact that Maya isn't with us tonight, we're going to do a deep dive into J-dramas. And first of all, Hori-san, what J-dramas have you seen recently that you've really liked?
It's called Happy Marriage.
Happy Marriage.
It's already on Netflix, so maybe you can find it later.
Right. And who's in Happy Marriage? Do you know the performers, perchance?
Yes, Takako Matsu.
Hi.
She's so fascinating. She's a great singer, great actress, and special taste of acting. So it was really, really good.
Nice. Yeah, I just started that, actually. I just finished Glass Heart, and that has Takeru Sato, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, a famous movie star type of character. And he's phenomenal talent. And I really like that show because, it's a little bit for the young adults. It's definitely got its kind of like cheeseball moments. But the writing was done by, I think they claimed at least 25 different like musicians and Radwimps. The one, I think the head guy from Radwimps was one of the main contributors to the songs. So the soundtrack plays like a Radwimps greatest hits album. And for the performers, the actors, they learn those instruments, and they spent, I think it was over a year. I thought it was like 3 months. It was like a year learning the instruments. That's insane. But yet, I think there's a level of devotion that Japanese performers bring to the table, which is part of what makes the Japanese dramas so engaging. And now, it's been post-COVID. A lot of people got into K-dramas during COVID, and now people are going into J-dramas. And so let's talk a little bit about the behind the scenes in terms of what we can expect in terms of just J-dramas. Because I believe it or not, it's a very kind of traditional, more traditional, like how American television used to be in terms of schedules and whatnot. Here we go. So it's kind of based on kind of like how our TV model used to be.
Yes, I guess so. And This is Japanese TV calendar for tomorrow. So we have this type of calendar every day, like on newspapers, or even we can see this on TV and select the slots. So this is for tomorrow's, and they have full calendar, but this is the screenshot starting from 8 p.m. to midnight. And since this is between summer season and autumn season, they have a lot of special shows. And we call golden hours, like 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. So people are in a living room and watching TV with family. So from 7 to 11, we call it golden.
Yeah, we call it prime time here in the States. Yeah. We call it prime time here in the States.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being on the show on golden time is a dream for comedian or actors. And midnight is more like testing slots. So they start something new on midnight time and people watch and they have good result and fame. Then it can move to golden in the next season.
Interesting.
And sometimes midnight drama is not for everyone, for specific type of people or adults. So midnight drama slots can be a little bit sexier compared to the golden slots.
Now that's interesting because that model, first of all, I'm trying to read a little bit here of what the schedule has. In America, usually 9 p.m. is news across the board. That's when you do like an
Mm.
hour worth of news, and then you do like your
Mhm.
late night talk shows after that. It seems so. Is it different in Japan?
Yes, we have smaller slots for weather forecast or news. So 11 p.m. is the time for news. Not for all the channel, but news starting like 11 p.m. And what is interesting is sometimes the slots start not on o'clock, starting like 59 minutes or 55 minutes, so that people can randomly searching what's going on and starting from 59 or 55 could be catch the person who is searching the channel. In that way, each channel try to catch people because Japanese system, TV broadcasting system, is a little bit different from US, I believe.
Yeah, that's interesting. I know like the late night talk shows here will start at like 10:35 or whatever, but the fact that that is hyper competitive, that they're trying to get the jump
Hmm.
on you 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes
Yeah,
into
yeah.
that starting time. That's really fascinating. And it's also fascinating too, the idea that you have like you call your midnight shows, that obviously some of the shows, if they're a little too racy, would never make prime time. But for others, it's almost like an incubator. It's a place where those shows, if they're successful in the midnight section, can move up to prime time or the golden hour, so to speak. That's
Hmm.
reminds me a lot of how our radio stations used to operate here in the States, where
Oh, yeah.
you'd play all the hits during the
Hmm.
prime time hours. And then after midnight, the DJs would play all the stuff that they liked, hoping that
Hmm.
people would get interested in it. And then it would eventually, move its way up. Obviously, in America, things are very different now with streaming. And we will talk about this momentarily. But here, this next slide, go ahead and tell us a little bit
Okay.
about what we're seeing here.
So each channel is broadcasted by each broadcasting companies. So here is the major companies. The first one, NHK, it's national broadcasting, and others are based on a sponsor model. So NHK can collect money from directly from consumers. So they have stable income. But since this is national broadcasting, so these channel should be for everyone nationally. So they have some popular slots. Morning drama is 15 minutes drama. It continues 6 months. And this is like family eating breakfast type of drama. And on Sunday, they have historical drama, which is focused on main characters and actually existed in the past. And drama 10, this is very nice drama slots. And Tokyo Soda Bowl is broadcasted on drama 10. And other one is about nighttime high school. So sometimes people should work and couldn't join daytime high school. So in that case, they can join nighttime high school. So there are a lot of background students in with a lot of backgrounds gathered, and something happened. So Tokyo Star is focused on people from international background stays in Tokyo. So this drama 10 is for TV drama, something interesting, but also social. So that's NHK.
And
So
and for a
the
lot of people
mechanism.
who don't know, NHK is kind of like BBC, where it is funded. It's a publicly funded um,
Mhm,
television station. PBS in some ways, although NHK I think is a little bit more commercial minded. Where here in PBS is definitely more considered just public broadcasting, and so it comes in. I think it's just a different flavor. Might be the best way to describe that. NHK seems to be a little bit more consumer focused.
mhm,
Whereas PBS is definitely about sort of like well, you have programs like Frontline, but you also have like your murder mysteries. You have a whole different sort of things, but there is seem to be a very educational slant to the stuff
mhm.
that we
Yeah.
broadcast here on PBS, and it seems like NHK is very similar in that respect.
Yeah, so when I was young, I used to think NHK is for everyone and try to be educational. So that's why the drama is a bit boring. But now I can feel this is age issue or not. I don't know. But now I feel NHK is trying something new, and I feel them they have responsibility because we pay for Netflix or Disney Plus, so we're getting used to pay for the channel. So NHK is getting harder to collect money. They're collecting very stable way, but collecting money from consumer become competitive, and once they got the money from consumer, the drama or other content should be valuable enough for the money paid.
Hmm,
And
interesting.
other channel is companies broadcasted by companies, and they have strong relationship with newspaper companies and radio. They also have radio broadcasting. And TV drama, they have different color for each channel, and they have popular slots for each channel. And their model is sponsor model. So consumers are not directly paying for them, and companies are paying for the show. So the show itself should be beneficial for sponsors. So
Hmm.
I can see oh this show is sponsored by a car manufacturer because car car shows car on the drama, it looks fascinating and show up very frequently. In
So
that way,
yeah, so
sponsors.
I was going to ask you, so like, because obviously in American commercial television, like in ABC, CBS, and NBC, we basically have, what's the best way to put it? Like you have commercial breaks. And, but that being
Yes.
said, so you basically have like the commercial breaks and then, but that could be whatever you want. And occasionally some organizations might do like product placement within the television shows. But it sounds like that the product placement in the television shows is maybe more direct or more tied into the just it's more synergy, so to speak, because you did they're like a car show or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So is that how it is where maybe corporations
Oh,
are
we
more
also
involved?
have commercial break. We
Yeah.
have it too.
Yeah.
But sometimes, yeah, we can feel, oh, this is this is sponsoring for tobacco or car apparel. I'm not sure, but
Is it more common that Japanese shows are like sponsored by like an organization or something like that? Because I know like I've seen a couple shows here that was one of them was an obvious basically sponsored by Final Fantasy because it was about his dad. I think it was called like Dad
mhm,
of Light or something, and it was just him and his kid playing Final Fantasy together. So it was an obvious product placement of Final Fantasy, and I don't know if it's like that for if
mhm.
it's more like that in Japanese television than American television, or still rare.
Oh, or even it can happen um the that I didn't realize it. And I unconsciously I'm purchasing it. I'm not sure. But sometimes it's obvious and mostly car
Mostly
for me.
cars.
Mhm.
So I've seen Viviant, and that's a TBS drama.
Yes.
Are each of the
Yes.
stations, do they kind of like for example, here, NBC tends to be more left leaning, and they were kind of like a little bit more edgy. ABC was more family, and CBS was more for older generations here. Do the stations in
Mhm.
Japan tend to fit certain demographics or sort of have certain attributes to them?
Yes. So TVS used to be said um, TVS for drama. So they're leading J drama world, I guess. And Nippon TV is much more challenging in TV drama. So these are mysterious and new type of TV drama. So they use bright actors, but the story itself is mysterious.
It's kind of like a
So,
prestige drama that we have those here
mhm,
as well.
mhm.
Yeah.
And TV Asahi is much more core drama to me. So they're sponsors. So their important KPI is how many percent of people watching this show on
Mhm.
that time is the main KPI. But raising just the number of people watching TV is very easy. Once they have a specialized show for elder people, they are getting used to watch TV on dinner time or before going to bed. So the contents for elder people is easily raise the KPI. But sponsors are sell products for younger people. So by generation, that KPI is really important.
Hmm.
So to me, TV Asahi is more broadcasting TV drama focus on elder people, I guess.
Oh,
Like this one, Aibo, is
yeah.
a detective stories in the same template.
Mm.
So there is a cop and smart, keen cop and friendly cop working together and solve the issues. One issues in one day. So the template is the same.
Well, even just looking at the graphics, you can see like
Mhm,
the Asahi graphics tend to skew. You can see like that's more Gen X and maybe a little older. The
mhm,
stylings of the graphics tend to be
mhm.
are a little bit more reminiscent of maybe a little bit more retro compared to
Yeah.
Nippon TV.
Yes. And Fuji Television, which has the eye-opening icon,
Yes.
is has a important popular slots, which is called Monday 9. So Monday 9 p.m. The
Mm.
slot is very famous. And it used to be the slot for love, romance, drama. So starting from Tokyo Love Story, I saw it's on Netflix. It's very old TV drama. But once we say Monday Nine, what was the famous TV drama on Monday Nine? It's Tokyo Love Story, I guess.
Oh yeah, and you can see that in
So
Netflix. Yeah.
so nowadays people have imagine a love story in a different way. So it's not working. It used to be. But Monday Night sounds like love drama for younger generation.
Hmm. That's so fascinating. And so, yeah, and Fuji,
Mhm.
because we have CBS as the icon. And so Fuji obviously is taking that to a whole different, very different style of,
Mhm.
now, so you're saying like Monday, is that sort of like the prime time? Like the prime time of
Mhm.
prime time, is that the best time to put on your shows? Because in America, it used to be like Wednesday and Thursday. That's when you wanted to put your best shows usually came on Thursday. Is there a day that your best shows usually come on in Japan?
I don't know. They say Wednesday drama for Nippon TV and
Oh, really?
Friday drama for
Interesting.
TBS.
So it's sort of like they all claim their own little space. That's
Yeah.
fascinating, though. That's very, very cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
But traditional one is Monday night for Fuji TV and Sunday theater for TBS. So mostly focus on business story.
Gotcha.
And historical drama NHK and morning drama NHK is traditional.
Hmm.
Okay, this is the third slide, which is explaining what will happen if we miss the live show. So there are some free apps, and TVer is the most popular one, and I love the most in entire app. TVer has we can watch TV dramas 7 days after the live, and it collects all the TV drama from different companies. So this is really good app. And each company has each free app somehow. And also they have not non-free app, on-demand app. So typically they store all the TV dramas on NHK is for NHK On Demand, Nippon TV have Hulu and also their On Demand. And TV Asahi and TBS has Paravi and Fujiteravi has FOD. So I believe this is and also, each company tries to sell the contents to Netflix. So if we could have the one platform, one J drama platform, we could have built something like Netflix from Japan. But somehow they develop each app, each platform by them own. And finally, they're trying to selling contents on Netflix. So I feel sad about this situation. But TVer itself is really good. And I also love Netflix, but if we could build something like Netflix and gather money from foreign people, that could be a good opportunity for Japan. And since they can sell the contents for Netflix, that's why each company is focused on TV drama. So now they have much more slots for TV drama and sort of script writers and producers. But some producers are higher Netflix. So there's a global competition in taking J dramas. So that's the situation I see from my view.
Hmm. So in terms of perfect example, like when you look at like American television, we really moved away from scripted TV because it was very expensive. But it seems as if Japan television really likes scripted TV or really focuses heavily more on scripted TV. And what would be the reasoning for that, do you think?
Mm, there are variety in TV drama.
Right.
Variety is just one time show kind of
Hmm.
thing. Of course, we watch variety on TV, but 10 years later, no one will look back on the variety 10 years ago. But if it's TV drama, 10 years later, people may watch.
I
So
see.
TV drama has longer life cycle
Hmm.
and possibility to sell or possibility to sell globally or remake in Korea. So they can sell rights to remake in the different countries.
Interesting. Wow.
Yes.
So do you think that because the streaming services, there isn't like one umbrella Netflix in Japan, because the distribution is much more, I guess we'd say, it's more structured and more rigid, that in some ways it does work in the benefit for the shows because a lot of times like Netflix, if it ends up on there, they're not really getting a lot of money. You're not getting a lot of money for the show. Um, is the more structured and rigid system in some ways, by restricting people's access to the TV shows, does it some ways help, or is it really just a big obstacle? And they could do a better job if they were all under one umbrella.
Yeah, so they didn't see the global market when they start thinking about having their own app and platform. So like, oh, Fuji Television has FOD, we need something. Oh, Nippon TV has Hulu, we need something. In that way, still competing each companies. And there was no space to gather to think about how they can have one platform.
Hmm.
So since Japanese people already paying for Netflix, not for J dramas, for foreign dramas or variety contents, who is supposed to pay for the on-demand app for each companies? They can watch Netflix. So they have their own app, on-demand app, and possibility to collect money for the app. But they needed money, so they're selling contents on Netflix. So we can see both on-demand app for each companies and also Netflix. But
Hmm.
Netflix is only one app
Hmm.
which can see TV dramas from all the companies. So
Okay.
who's gonna pay for the on-demand app for each TV broadcasting company?
Well, we're starting to have that problem here too, because with because Hulu got wrapped up into Disney, but you have Amazon Prime, you have Disney, and then you have you had Hulu, but that's now Disney, and then of course you have Netflix, and then there's a
Mhm.
few upstarts, Crunchyroll and things of that nature, who just a lot of those they specifically focus like on anime or a particular like the Hallmark Channel
Yeah,
has its own
yeah.
app, and sometimes they will leak movies onto Netflix or whatnot.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's the golden age of streaming is done, and now it's becoming fractured. And once again, I guess it depends. If the biggest thing is that if let's say if a lot of these streaming services were like geared toward a particular genre, it might feel a little bit more fair. But like right
Hmm.
here, like we have Paramount TV and Peacock, it's basically the station is putting on their own streaming
Hmm.
service. But that's whatever shows they decide to put on. I sometimes wonder
Hmm.
if you had like a streaming service just for Westerns and a streaming service just for J drama and a streaming service just
Hmm.
for particular genres, that people would feel happier in the long
Yeah.
run, because that's, you end up paying for basically a lot of shows you don't watch.
Hmm.
Where do you see the future of J dramas in the next 5 to 10 years?
Um,
I know that's a big question.
uh, yeah, I want to see a strong content we could be remake in different countries.
Hmm.
So yeah, I love to watch Japanese version of Suits. Do you know that?
They had a version of 24 too, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In that way, IP could be sold in different countries and localize the strong contents. That's what I want to see. I love to watch that. And also strong stories, strong characters are needed for the strong contents. So Japan just started a multi-script writing system. We still have single script writer for one drama, but NHK started how do you say multi script writing system.
Okay.
And that was really good. They start from variety of ideas from different script writers and thinking over 100 stories and pick the best one.
I love the fact that Japan still seems to have a very much a what you would say a mind for the aesthetic. In America we put out anything if it's going to get eyeballs on the screen. And here there's a case where it's like, no, we want quality, because if you have quality, people will come back to the content. And I think it's a very mindful way to go about putting things on the air. And I think it's something that, once again, we do have that a little bit here in the States, but I've always felt that there's really good intellectual TV shows are hard to come by. You find them you'll find them on the paid cable channels, but you don't really find them on network TV as much. Every now and then something like The Good Place shows up where it's like, wow, this is really cerebral for network television. But you always say, wow, this is really cerebral for network television, because they don't put anything that's cerebral. Usually it's just pretty lighthearted stuff. So what have been your all-time favorite J dramas? I guess we should leave with this.
Oh, it's a hard question.
I know. I'm just started watching Miss King. I'm only one episode in. That's on Netflix. That's got Nan in it. She's amazing, for those who don't know who that actress is, but it just started here in the States. It's kind of like their answer to Queen's Gambit, where she's a shogi player. But go ahead, your greatest. I gave you a little bit of time. Your greatest, your favorites.
Yeah, I learned from YouTubers that I can understand why I love the story, and it's not coming from actress. It's sometimes coming from the story and script writers. So now I am focusing on a young script writer, Miku Ubukata. She's early in her 30s, and her there are 3 to 4 TV dramas from her, and everything is awesome. And she use the words in a nice way, and sometimes that word continues and show up in the later shows. So one character say this thing and that's it, and the story continues. But in a different conversation, few weeks later, it come up again with a little bit different flavor. So that sort of, science is on a series.
Yeah. It's very circular. I mean, film in general, it tends to be very circular. Anything you put into a movie, eventually you have to circle back to. That's what makes the great movies, the great TV shows. But it's wonderful when you can see that happening. And it's just, I think as human beings, we really connect to a television show when they take the care and the effort to remember that in theater, because really it's television is theater, you put something out there and eventually you have to return to it in a different context. If you're doing it well, that should be the essence of good script writing and good theater. You were a big fan of Quartet, if I'm not mistaken, too, right?
Sorry again?
Were you a big fan of Quartet, if I'm not mistaken?
Quartet, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that is also a beautiful TV drama.
That's also on Netflix. So if you were to tell our audience before we go, what they should watch, what shows available in the States, because I know when we talked about like TVer and some of those apps, you have to have a VPN to use them. You can't access a lot of the Japanese television directly. You have
Mm-hmm.
to have a VPN or some way to do it. But obviously, a lot of these shows are now coming to Netflix and Amazon Prime. So, is there if any viewer like right now says, "Okay, where do I start? Like, what three shows should they watch? Start binging tomorrow."
Oh, I need another 1 hour to talk about it.
Okay, well,
But
okay, well, we can, but no,
but
but you can pick your three, the ones that they should go.
yeah, it can be anything, to be honest. If you like detective story, pick one. If you like love story, pick one. And think about and search which slot was that in Japan
Mm.
and which company broadcasted that TV drama. That's behind the scene to understand the TV, and you can imagine how people enjoyed in Japan watching every week, and they have 1 week to discuss or watching YouTube discussion. So whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. And I can pick some if we can have another time to
Okay, so
discuss
we'll,
my
we'll definitely
favorite.
do another deep dive. We're going to kind of circle back on this. This will be maybe a segment we do sort of like in between our biweekly segments. We'll pick a J drama and we'll just like run with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there are so many good ones. I would
Mhm.
say, yeah, to tell everybody, yeah, just see what you like and then just run with it. There's because
Yeah.
Amazon Prime now is stacking them up. Netflix has a really good selection. Disney, Hulu, they're still catching up. And of course, if
Mhm.
you want anime, go to Crunchyroll, and that's a whole other discussion. I mean, we haven't even talked about anime on this show yet. Eventually, we'll probably get into it, but I feel like there's so many shows that discuss anime that that's just we'll eventually get around to it at some point
Yeah.
in the future. Of course, my recommendations. I really liked Glass Heart. I Love You. I thought was really cute, especially because the lead being a Korean performer, and then I think it's Fumi Nakaido, who came off of Shogun, playing a very, very different character than she played in Shogun. And so I thought that was very, very entertaining. So, all right. One last thing. Do you think that because people here in America are streaming the shows, and not like necessarily watching him in the same capacity as you would in Japan. Are we missing something? Do you think that that because we're not giving the space between the shows? Although like, obviously Miss King is being released once a week, so there is that chance to, have that kind of space to kind of discuss and kind of have those water cooler talks. But do you feel like we missed something in if we're just streaming the shows like nonstop, like kind of binging them?
Yeah, if they broadcast weekly basis, there could be space to wait and discuss. And if people love binge watching, they can see later by streaming platform. So yeah, giving the space kind of producing special atmosphere, I believe.
Yeah. No,
But I
I
also love to binge watching, so
It depends on the show. When we first started doing that here in the States, everyone like 24, you just binged 24 because it was kind of that level of addiction. And then you'd be up till 3 in the morning,
Mhm.
like, oh my God, I gotta go to bed. And other shows like Lost or like when Twin Peaks, the third season came out, you kind of wanted a week in between episodes
Mhm.
because you just had to, especially like Twin Peaks when season three came out of that, like you really needed a week to understand what it is you just saw. I mean, that
Mhm.
space really did help process the program. So,
Mhm.
but for everybody, well, you know what? When you're watching, if you feel like you need to think about it, just hit pause and get back to it tomorrow. It ain't going anywhere. Ori-san, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right, next week or 2 weeks from now, I will be back in the States, and we'll have a more of our regularly scheduled programming. So until then, we'll see you. And then, yeah, Kanako, thank you so much for joining us again today.
Thank you so much.
Take care.